There, hopefully you can hear me. This is Brandon Selic, the lead Queensland Senate candidate for the Pirate Party Australia, just with a quick update in regards to what has happened post-election. First of all, I just want to thank everyone, particularly our volunteers, for assisting us on the day. Particular shout out to Alex Jago, who is the secretary of the Pirate Party and provided us with a lot of behind the scenes support before and on the day. I also want to send my thanks to all the other candidates, Miles Whittaker in Queensland in particular, but in the other states as well, for their support and their counsel during the campaign. It was much appreciated. I wanted to talk a little bit quickly in regards to the results. Now, the AEC are still counting the votes. Now, naturally, they are focusing on the House of Representative seats before they finalise the Senate count. But in regards to the Senate count in Queensland, the Pirate Party has done the best they've done in any election that we've contested so far. So that is positive news. I think we're looking at about 0.5% and higher on the quotas than we have in the past. What's interesting in regards to how it's going ahead so far is that while the LNP have made two quotas, made quota twice for two senators, Labor's only made one quota so far. Normally, it would go 2 to the coalition, 2 to Labor, and then the last 2 seats would be contested, one normally going to the Greens and then one going to another Conservative party, One Nation, for example. But this time around, while the Greens and One Nation are ahead, we've got a third LNP candidate ahead of a Labor candidate. So, yeah, there are 3 seats in contention still in Queensland. Now, we were always honest about our chances in Queensland, but the fact that there are 3 seats rather than what would realistically be 1 seat up for contention is exciting, to say the least, and interesting. Now, as it currently stands, 51.9% of the vote is counted in Queensland and for the Senate, and that was updated 15 minutes ago. Incidentally, sorry I was running late. It took a little longer to set up than I thought it would. Now, in regards to, so we're not going to know anything for at least a week, maybe more, and it's really going to come down to where the preferences lie. So, while again we've got to be realistic about these things, we're also not out of this fight yet. So we'll see what happens in the coming days and weeks before Parliament is called back. Now it's looking like Parliament will be called back at the end of June at this stage, and we'll see what happens there. I do know that since I last looked at these numbers, the Greens have gone down percentage-wise in regards to quota, and One Nation has gone up. And neither of them have enough to make one yet. And yes, the coalition are in a better position to get 3 quotas rather than 2 as they normally would. In regards to the overall result, it was a very disappointing weekend for elections, both for federal government and for Eurovision. Australia, again, while getting in the top 10, didn't get a podium finish, didn't win. Very sad that the Netherlands won, but hey, we're going to the Netherlands next year for Eurovision, so that's exciting to say the least. In regards to the election, it's disappointing that the coalition is back in power, but that is where it seems to have fallen. Now, there's going to be a lot of post-mortem in regards to policy and regards to what's going to happen in the coming weeks. And I have my theories on why the coalition have won, or rather why Labor lost. But I'm going to leave that for the time being. In regards to what the Pirate Party does next, or what we've learned from this election, as has been pointed out, that's something we should get into. So what we've learned from this, what I learned from this election, straight up, is that while we were all calling this the climate election, that just did not play in North and Western Queensland. I've had contact from my volunteers up there, and while our shirts were lovely and they said you can't download a planet on the back of them, that got absolutely no play in regards to voters in Northern and Western Queensland. Now, we suspected that would be the case, but given the budget for our material, that was the campaign we decided to run on, and we didn't have the chance to target a message to specific electorates in specific areas of the state, which, if we'd had the chance, absolutely we should have done that, but we didn't consider it. We didn't have the funds for it anyway. So that's a moot point, but that is definitely something we're going to have to consider down the line in regards to getting a message out, considering the fact that, once again, while we had some parties preferencing us, they were preferencing us very low, and haven't come into play yet. So this is very preliminary analysis. And considering we've got very little airplay this time around compared to last time, though we did manage to actually get into some News Corp papers, and so that was encouraging. The fact that we've done better this time around means at least that we're slowly chipping away at getting our name out there, getting our policies out there. But one thing, pessimistic as it is to say, is I keep coming back to